The life you believe you are living may not be the life you were meant to live. From the very beginning, we are taught a simple story. Work hard, compete, succeed, accumulate, and follow the path proven to work by those before us. We are rewarded for fitting in, for performing well, for meeting expectations. Slowly, almost invisibly, this story becomes our identity. But what if this story is incomplete? What if the life you call your life is not the destination but the preparation? Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists in history, believed that a person's true psychological life often begins much later than we expect. According to Jung, genuine self-discovery rarely happens before the age of 40. Until then, most of us are busy constructing a version of ourselves that can survive in society. We build careers. We adopt beliefs. We chase goals that seem reasonable, respectable, and safe. And for a long time this works, but eventually something begins to feel wrong. As we approach midlife, the structures that once gave us certainty begin to weaken. The identities that once felt solid start to feel restrictive. Achievements that once excited us feel strangely empty, and questions emerge quietly at first. Is this really who I am? Is this what I want? Is this all there is? Many people label this moment a midlife crisis. They see it as a breakdown, a failure, or a loss of direction. But Jung saw it very differently. He believed this moment was not a collapse but an invitation to move beyond the surface of life, an invitation to stop living according to borrowed values, an invitation to finally become real. The first half of life. Building the persona. Jung described the early part of life as a necessary phase of adaptation. During this time, we develop what he called the persona, the social mask we present to the world. The persona is not fake, it is functional. It allows us to navigate society, form relationships, build careers, and gain acceptance. Without it, we would struggle to survive in a complex social world. The problem arises when we mistake the persona for our entire identity. Like an actor who forgets he is playing a role, we begin to believe that the mask is who we are. Ask yourself, how many choices in your life were driven by genuine desire? And how many were driven by expectation, fear, or the need for approval? From childhood, we learn which behaviors are rewarded and which are punished. We learn what is acceptable, admirable, and respectable. Over time, we internalize these rules, often without questioning them. This is why the first half of life often feels busy, ambitious, and externally focused. We are building something. We are proving ourselves. We are learning how the world works, and this phase is not a mistake, it is preparation. When the mask begins to crack at some point, often in midlife, cracks begin to appear in the persona. The career that once defined you no longer feels meaningful. The relationship that once felt necessary feels suffocating. The goals you achieved do not bring the satisfaction you expected. This can be deeply unsettling. You may feel restless without knowing why. You may feel anxious even though everything is fine. You may feel a quiet sadness that has no clear cause. Jung believed these feelings were signals from the psyche, messages indicating that growth now requires a different direction. The first half of life asks, how can I function in the world? The second half asks, who am I beneath all of this? Reframing the midlife crisis. What we call a midlife crisis is often nothing more than the soul demanding honesty. Jung argued that midlife discomfort is not pathological, it is developmental. It is the psyche's attempt to restore balance after decades of outward expansion. For years, we build outward: status, identity, roles, achievements. Eventually, the psyche demands inward movement. This is why midlife often brings existential questioning, emotional sensitivity, loss of interest in superficial success, a desire for meaning rather than validation. Ignoring this call often leads to depression, addiction, or emotional numbness. Responding to it opens the door to transformation. Jung called this process individuation. Individuation, becoming whole. Individuation is the lifelong process of becoming who you truly are, not who you were told to be, not who you needed to be to survive, but who you are beneath the roles, masks, and expectations. This process does not aim at perfection, it aims at wholeness. Central to individuation is the integration of the shadow. Meeting the shadow contains everything we have rejected, denied, or suppressed within ourselves. Traits we were told were unacceptable, desires we learned to fear, emotions we were taught to hide, anger, envy, fear, vulnerability, unfulfilled longing. The shadow does not disappear when ignored. It becomes stronger. It influences our behavior unconsciously through projections, emotional reactions, and repeating life patterns. Have you ever wondered why you keep encountering the same problems in different forms? Why the same conflicts repeat themselves in relationships or work? Often, the shadow is involved. Facing the shadow requires courage. It means acknowledging parts of yourself that may contradict your self-image. But without this confrontation, individuation is impossible. As Jung famously said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Integration, not destruction. Individuation does not require destroying the persona or abandoning everything you built. It requires integration. You do not erase your past. You absorb its lessons. You allow the rational and the emotional, the strong and the vulnerable, the light and the dark to coexist. Think of an orchestra. Each instrument plays a different role. When they work together, they create harmony. When one dominates or is silenced, the music suffers. Wholeness is balance, and balance changes what we value. One of the clearest signs of individuation is a shift in priorities. What once seemed essential, status, competition, external success, begins to lose its power. In its place, deeper values emerge. Authentic relationships, inner peace, meaningful work, self-respect, psychological freedom. Jung believed this shift was natural and necessary. Youth is about expansion. Midlife is about depth. A useful metaphor is that of a tree. In its early years, the tree grows quickly, competing for space and light. Its roots are wide but shallow. As it matures, growth slows and the roots deepen. Stability replaces speed. Depth replaces height. Midlife invites us to deepen our roots. Rewriting the story for most of our lives, we follow scripts written by others, parents, culture, society. Midlife offers the opportunity to question these scripts. Not out of rebellion, but out of honesty. Rewriting your story does not mean rejecting everything you were. It means asking whether the story still fits who you are becoming. This process can be frightening. It may require leaving behind certainty. It may require disappointing others. It may require stepping into the unknown. But Jung believed the greatest danger was not change, it was stagnation. Clinging to a life that no longer has meaning slowly erodes the soul. Meaning over comfort. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust, observed that humans can endure extraordinary suffering if they find meaning. Without meaning, even comfort becomes unbearable. Midlife often forces us to confront this truth. Comfort without meaning feels empty. Success without authenticity feels hollow. Safety without purpose feels like a cage. Individuation restores meaning by reconnecting us to ourselves. The quiet gift of wisdom, the final gift of midlife, is wisdom. Not loud wisdom, not performative wisdom, but quiet clarity. The kind that comes from lived experience, from mistakes, from loss, from facing oneself honestly. This wisdom allows us to act with intention rather than impulse, to choose alignment over approval, to live with fewer illusions and greater peace. It does not promise an easier life but a truer one, and that is why midlife is not a decline, it is an awakening. The moment life stops being a performance and finally becomes real.